All right. Thank you, Hartley. Well, I just want to say congratulations to the team and the town for getting the grant. Yay! So now we have to go forward and make it happen by May 31st. So I don't know that we need to introduce ourselves, even though it's going to be up on YouTube. We've had enough meetings for that. So the agenda today is to, I wanted to see what vendors we have come in. So Emmy, I don't know if you have that information or not.
No, Jim, I talked to him yesterday and he said they haven't had anything come in. They just had it pulled. And I believe that the due date isn't until, I was going to go back and check in my email, but I'm pretty sure because it had to stay up a certain amount of time.
Right.
And I think that the due date isn't until the beginning of next week.
So like the 13th? I wasn't sure if it was the 7th or the 13th. It depended on the timing.
Yeah. Let me just pull that back up again really quick.
Can you send us the link to that just so we can, or do we need an account to get into the state thing?
No, I think, I can get a link for you guys. Jim Kreidler. So it went in on the Tuesday, the 23rd, or was that when it went in?
The last email I have from you says that the due date is April 7th.
Yeah. So today we should have, hopefully, some that pulled papers, we should have some actual
responses
in. So I will, I'll check with Jim.
Okay.
And because he's, as the procurement officer, it doesn't come to me, it's going to come to him.
Right.
So I'll check with him and I'll see about getting us a link to take a look at it. It's on, it's on the Massachusetts sites. Like there's
like Combis or something like that.
Yeah. So I'll get the site and I'll send that link over from Jim this afternoon or this morning, whenever I can snag him for it.
Okay, I'm meeting with him this afternoon. We have our regular weekly thing, so I'll talk to him too. If sure. Maybe by then. So talk to him and let us know, Emmy, because you're the one running this. But I'll check in with him too.
Yeah, I'm going to send it right now, and see what we've got for that. But yeah, I mean, he did say that there seemed to be some companies that had pulled it that seemed to be like, smaller, more homegrown companies, which is kind of great instead of like these big conglomerates.
I think that's better for us.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I definitely think so. So that's really good. And I did send off the email to Roxana to see, next steps on developing the signs, pedestals and signs. So, and then I think it's going to be a matter of just once we've got whatever coming in, then we're good to go. Joan?
Oh, hi. I just, if we, just at the sidebar, I don't even know if it's possible at this point, but if we could give the contract to a woman-owned business or a minority-owned business, that'd be a plus.
It certainly would be. I'm not sure how the procurement works, if it has to do with like where the bid comes in financially or logistically, but, I understand that completely.
A great point.
I think we can look at what comes in, but I think in the end, it's Jim that makes the decision pretty much for the town, with input from us, of course. But I think, he's the one that does the procurement. So as far as that goes, awarding the contract. So, all right. So we'll take a look at that. And hopefully by the end of today, we'll have stuff in. I didn't know if Shannon McNair, the one you were answering, Emily, who was asking the questions, I didn't know if that was a man or a woman.
Yeah, sometimes you don't.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
Was she a vendor? Is that, because I just answered because Emmy, asked us to, but I didn't realize until today that it looked like she was a vendor, not.
I don't think she's actually a vendor. I think she was part of the decision making team. Like, I think that she might have been part of their like deciding team, because they have representatives from various things. I think that's what that was.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's kind of how I looked at it too, you know?
Yeah, because of the information, I think that was part of the team, because when I looked it up, it was, it didn't seem like they were scoping for business. It seemed like it was a part of the, you know, decision making, I guess, especially with it coming in those couple of days and stuff right prior. So, and that was sort of the thing that was still sitting out in the air, was that RFB. We knew there was going to be questions about that.
Right. Yeah. She's from Marlin Controls Inc. But you're right. Maybe she was part of the WSS, you know, valuation team.
Right.
Ooh.
Okay. So, yeah. So SHAPS. So anyway, that's for vendors. So hopefully we'll have a vendor in the next day or two that we can go forward with. So there will be more on that. Next one was SHAPS, setting up the SHAPS account so we can get the permits for the signs.
Yep.
And we do that, correct? Not the vendor that we choose?
I believe so. And he was on my list for this morning along with Roxana. I'm sending Christopher a email asking if he would give us a hand walking through how to set it up, because we have no idea.
All right.
We just have no idea. And this is what he does. He's the permit guy. So I figured if we could get on a call with him, or even if I could get in a call with him, or one of us could get on a call with him to set up our account, then we could go ahead and get those permit signage and stuff in. Em, are you still planning on giving a hand with getting those in?
The SHAPS or going around with our highway team?
No, the SHAPS, getting the permit requests in for the signs on 119.
I can. I thought that was something that, why am I blanking her name? Jennifer was going to help you with.
Oh, yeah. Who is Jen?
Oh, she's not on.
She's not on.
I'll text her.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll, no worries. I will, yeah, she did say that.
But let me know if you need a hand.
Yeah, oh, I will. But yeah, we've got all the pictures, we've got all the codes, we've got all the, you know, everything. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue. It's just going to be navigating the site, which is helpful. So,
Well, Emmy, let us know if you need help from any of us for this.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got Bonnie too. So like I said, I think I'm just going to need Christopher to walk us through, because Jim doesn't know what to do. Jim S. Hasn't done anything with that. Our Jim K is not available to do that. I mean, it's just a process. So I just need to find a human being that could walk me through what to do.
Okay.
So,
all right.
After Christopher.
Okay. All right. The RRFB. I talked to Jim yesterday, and he had said that Weston and Sampson has agreed to do the plan.
Yay.
So I will talk to him and get more details on that this afternoon. But they said if we got the grant that, yes, they would do the plan. I can't remember if I emailed it to you, but I had pulled out the picture that Margaret had pointed us to, and then what was in the picture of the crosswalk and what was in the grant application, and put it together as a 3-page package. And Jim had taken it to the guy that's the MassDOT guy who's doing the bridge. And then he had called someone at Weston and Sampson. So the deal was if we got the grant, that Weston and Sampson would be willing to do the plan that MassDOT needs. So, and I am not sure, I mean, you might know the answer to this. Who do we have to apply for the permit? Is it Laurie Shattuck?
The permit for the RRFB?
Yeah.
I think SHAPS. I think it goes through SHAPS also.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, it's going to go through SHAPS also. And the signed or stamped or whatever drawings, those get filed with the request.
Okay.
So I think it's like an attachment situation, just like we're going to be attaching, our photos and schematics and whatever that Margaret did for all of the street signs.
Okay. So I should get from Jim today the date that we will have those stamped plans.
Yeah.
So that, okay.
Although, as we kind of discussed yesterday, it does look like there might be a little bit of flexibility if there's a delay.
Yes. In those questions.
Right. Now, this also, here's the other thing that's interesting. They're not saying May 31st. They're saying, it says here, if there's a back order on an item that is critical for my project, now my project will not be completed by the October 9 deadline.
See, I think that they didn't update these questions. I saw that too. And I think it just didn't go through. I think they did this for the summer one, the one that was over the summer, and it was due October.
This one doesn't specify that it's the wintered streets and shared spaces. So
I think they just didn't edit it and said, oh, we have the frequently asked questions. Here we go.
Send it on out.
Yeah. So I think that we should go for the May 31st deadline, but there's leeway. And the report is in June, I think. June 30th for the report. So I do just want to let you guys know I'm going to be out of town May 15th through June 4th. I'm really sorry. But so I can help with anything before that. And when I get back with writing the report.
When are you gone?
May 15 to June. It's either the 3rd or the 4th. We get home early in the morning. One of those 2 days. Our flights just keep being changed.
Okay.
So, anyway.
All right. Yeah, I think we're heading out sometime the end of June or end of May, beginning of June too, but I'll keep you posted. We haven't actually booked it yet, so I'll take a look. So we can make sure that everything is basically done before we head out and that we can get everything in. Because it also says something like the end of June, they want to have reports all in, right?
Correct. And so I will be here to work on reports all of June. So not a problem.
And I think as long as we keep, they do want updates while we're doing it. So as long as we keep everything organized and, make sure we have our documents for each one that we can send in periodically, it's going to be a matter of just compiling them at the end.
Yeah. Didn't it say something like before and during and after photos?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So
we have before photos because we've been using them this whole time. So we're going to have to just spend some time to go out and grab some photos and take some notes while the work is actually being done.
Yeah.
Everybody, let me know if there's anything I can do. I know this wasn't my strong suit, but also Jen's at the vet with her dog who has Lyme disease, and they are actually able to see her this morning. So.
Okay.
No, Joan, we'll definitely, especially groundwork when this gets going. There's going to be varying paperwork reports and things to put together that it would be great to have, someone on hand to compile. And I remember from the whole Historic Society thing, you're pretty good at compiling. So.
Yeah. So we'll be talking to you, Joan. All right. So I'll check with Jim on that. Date for stamp plan from JK. Moving on, bike racks. Okay, so here we have it, you guys. I don't know if you can see this, but this is I'm putting this in today.
All right.
To the Historic District Commission for a certificate of non-applicability. It will be this. I am going with the least number of words possible. And the pictures that Emmy and Emily that you put together, and Joan I'm just the single, bike rack picture will be attached, and that is it. I'm not gonna, this guy, and that one is for the town hall parking lot. So I'm doing 3 certificates of non-applicability. One for the bike rack at the town common, one for the bench at the town common, and one for the bike rack behind town hall. And
can you put a picture of Emily Dickinson on those applications, please?
Yes, we will do what we can. So anyway, so I'm going to put those in at town hall later this afternoon. And we'll just see where it goes.
Don't forget to sign them, Veronica.
I know. Thank you. So anyway, yeah.
That was my fault.
Write the word yes on there somewhere so they can re-familiarize with the word.
Real.
Yeah, I did not I talked to Roger because Cemetery and Parks had approved the bike rack and the bench on the town common parking lot. And that was one of the reasons that Roger was on the call. He thought that he would be asked about that. And of course he wasn't. So he told me, don't even say that we approved it. Just see if they give you the certificate. He said it might be better just to few words as possible, just put it in. He also said that he prefers doing things and begging forgiveness, but I'm not going that route. Anyway, so there you have it. So
does that
go in
with Cemetery and Parks, since it just clicked in my head, to ask them about that signage space too. That's a Cemetery and Parks for that spit of land there.
Yeah.
So that's, we just try and get that through them, right?
I will ask because they did say that signage had to be approved by Cemetery and Parks.
Right.
So I'll talk to Roger. Roger. I'm making my list as I do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's that for that, unless somebody has, the You Are Here sign. I did, I think I sent it to all of you. I did ask the library trustees if they would be, I talked to Stacy and I've also talked to one of the trustees. And Emily, this is just an aside. Carolyn Sellers said to tell you hello.
Oh, thank you. If you
anyway,
I said the same.
Anyway, I was telling her about getting this grant, and I had said how much work you had done on the graphic piece of it, and she was like, anyway, that's enough. So the schematics, Margaret had asked the question about whether, she said the schematics that they're doing for the bike lanes, they want to just do the schematic, not the picture, because she thought that would be better for the striping vendor. And I thought it would be good to talk to the striping vendor, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think that we need to make the decision. She said for the crosswalks, she was going to leave in the aerial, but she wasn't going to put the aerial for the schematics because she didn't think it would be useful for the striping company. I'm paraphrasing here. So I know I got it, Emmy and Emily, I think you might have gotten it. I think she sent it to Jim Smith. So I had replied just offline and said, hey, we'll get back to you on this, but your idea sounds good. Your plan sounds good. So I didn't know if she was going to be on today's meeting or not, but we should let her know that. And I'll do a reply all to the email. But does that sound reasonable to you guys? I have no experience with striping companies, so I don't really know.
I mean, what Jim Smith said, he said, that this isn't a hard process, like they're a company, they're used to doing it. So if we can give them something that at least gets them where they're supposed to be, then, it's their job to know distances and where things need to go and, what the laws are and all that other stuff. That's their business. So I think that if we can at least, whatever Margaret gives us that has the specific things like the curbs and where they wanted the pictures and that sort of stuff, as long as we can do that, I don't think it's going to be a big issue whether we have ground view drawings or whether it's an aerial necessarily. Okay. Especially since we got them, they did get the specific GPS and distance coordinates for those areas that they were concerned about.
Right. So, okay. All right. So I'll tell her to go with what she thinks is the best.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll send that out today to her.
Yes, too. Margaret.
So back to the You Are Here's. The library trustees is going to vote on it at their meeting. I think it's next week. on whether they would be willing to put a "You Are Here" sign somewhere on the library grounds. I had suggested, if you're looking at the library to the right, where they have the story, or earlier in the winter, they had the storybook going down the line there. I thought, like, right where that sidewalk, it splits kind of like towards Hawthorne Brook and towards the street there, right in there was where I thought would be a nice placement. And I had said, and if we can't get the bike racks and benches, are you interested in a bike rack or bench? Because we have to place them somewhere.
Right.
So I hope it doesn't, break one of their shared streets rules if we don't put things exactly where they said.
It doesn't seem to, reading through it, as long as it's still within the parameters of it. And again, like, the bike rack, we could even do the bike rack and the bench further down the Squanicook River Rail Trail too, if we wanted to.
That is true. We could. So
we could put one further on down, further on down the line. Just to have a resting spot, a resting area. Again, a lot of the rail trails have them like those, like sort of like kickouts. So, or we could even, pop it in that back Adams Dam area, that clearing.
True. And, yeah. We could do that.
It might be nice to just do it there.
The Harbor Church. I think there's a number of different places we can.
Quite a few spots that I think we can pop that into that, would be a good space.
All right, then I won't worry about that. We'll see what they say and we'll go from there. I guess when we make the signs though, Emily, don't we have to tell them where? Yeah,
so I sent her an email. I'll find out from her what the exact next design steps are, what like layers of like she needs from us. And then, that third one we'll have to make a decision and give that to her, because the base drawings or the base landscape will all be the same for all of them. And then we need to do our specific "You Are Here" points. So, before we get to that point, we will need to make a decision. I really do like the idea of, if we could spread it out just a little bit, that would be nice. Sticking along with our lines. I don't see why not if we've got extra, but, we can make that one in the next bit or so, once we find out from Roxana exactly how the process works.
Okay. All right. So we're at anything else. Is there anything else that we need to talk about before, whenever we meet again, which might be, I think we need to meet periodically to talk about, the next thing would be the vendor, who's doing this. What do they need from us for support? What does Jim need from us, Jim Smith?
Yeah.
From us.
I did forward this information to Jim and to Roger, the
approval letter.
Thank you. And I'm like, it's right here. And I'm like, I can't word. I did send it along. I did talk to Roger. I haven't talked to Jim yet, but I figured I'd pop in today on my way out. Just to touch base. Here's where we're at. This is the information we're still waiting for, to sort of keep them in their schedule, into their loop. And Roger's he's all in for pouring cement. We talked a little bit about area and where the curve of the landscape is going to work for the cement for the bike things, and talked a little bit about that yesterday. So he's all set. Like I said, I'll talk to Jim just today, just to again touch base. Here's where we're at. This is what our next steps are. And then probably I sent the email off to Jim Kay. You're going to talk to him this afternoon, Veronica, but I think it's going to be, like you said, next steps is just getting the vendor list together and picking one, and then like starting ordering things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the biggest shopping trip ever.
182K. Woo.
I'm so thrilled that we got the entire amount. Like, I had to double check the numbers. It's amazing. I'm so excited.
And it was crazy.
Especially after all the budget discussions. I got about halfway through last Board of Selectmen meeting. I got another 2 hours to go. God bless you, Veronica. But, with all the talk of deficits and, the town is small and, you can't, and it just to get this kind of money for the town is so exciting. And so I think that, we need to think about crafting a press release.
I was just going to say, hey, Em, do you want to do a press release for us? Because
yes,
we do have we have a platform. We can put it on our site. We can have Hartley put it up on the TCAM. We can put it all over Facebook.
Put it up on Nextdoor.
On Nextdoor. Oh, I love Nextdoor. Yep, we've got a thing there. We can put it up all over the place so that people know that this is happening. And then we're definitely, as we go along, we're going to want to create events for placing things or, completion of things so that people can be on the lookout for it.
Right.
We want to have some kind of like ribbon cutting, right? Yeah. Cover it up and then unveil it, but kind of really celebrate. I mean, this is not chump change,
Right.
Big deal. Yeah. Yeah. So everybody, are we all volunteering? Volunteering on Emily? Volunteering?
I can start a draft. I can absolutely do that.
I'm making a motion. Everybody?
I'm in.
You got me on record.
All right, press release from Emily. Oh, the other
I've been
thing.
very, very interested. I ended up at Apple Metal Hardware for probably 20 minutes. And same thing at Evan's store. So once it starts going out these channels, it's going to finger all over the place.
Yeah.
Really exciting. It's really, and I do think if we put the press release together, if we do it with like a cool aerial or a photo or something like that, we can actually, a lot of our places, the pizza places, Evans, the hardware store, they'll actually put a flyer in their window, so we could even do something that's just a blip like, hey, guess what's coming? $182,000 worth of improvements for the general public. Like, just to put, and again, a visual for those that may not be on our, like Jen Eaton, who does not do any social media whatsoever, like,
God bless her.
Right? Like, seriously, I wish that could be my world. But, but even something, hard copies are great too. Cause like I said, we have a lot of businesses that are going to be impacted or that are in support of this. And a lot of folks that may only see it that way. A lot of our, maybe even our elder folks that.
I think, you mean me and Ronnie and Joan? Sorry, Joan. So listen, I think you might, I don't know if it's appropriate, but we could put a pitch in there for volunteering too, like, look what volunteers have done. We need volunteers, please. There's plenty to do.
Yeah.
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 We put a little bit of money, if we get the Nashua River one, the Scenic River grant. We did put a little bit of money in there for advertising because we would want a ribbon cutting thing there too. So depending on how the timing works out, it might be that we do it all together like July 4th weekend. Because isn't there something coming through town, like the veterans thing coming through town right after the 4th of July?
Yeah, I think so. The wall.
The wall, right. So we could put that maybe now maybe we want to, but we could, advertise it, do outside things around that time to unveil.
Do we know if we're having Earth Day anything or craft fair anything?
So Earth Day's the 24th. This month is the 24th. Rain date's on the 25th. The rec center, we're actually going to do tables from 9 to 3 here at the rec center. I'd be happy to have, if we could put something together, and we have that account on Canva. So if you want to put something together, we could always, again, we can have flyers here handed out. We can have, we can even do a Rachel, we could ask her if she can do the big blow up printing even, and we can do an easel print, so we can have it here, have some stuff here, because all the yard sale and craft stuff for that is going to be at people's homes. It's like a map. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be on the common. It's going to be like a map that you purchase and go to different places. But that's the 24th of this month. So that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's really close. I wonder, maybe not for the 24th, but maybe signups by the 24th or something like that. If we'd like to do similar to what we did with the nature walks, but maybe it's a cleanup, a path cleanup, a volunteer signups or something like that. And maybe, we do that early May instead, as kind of like in preparation for our wayfinding getting at least the entryways into some of these places started.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good idea.
Hey, Joan W., Joan S., either of you guys want to take on that?
What, make a flyer?
Yeah, coordinating, putting some sort of sign up volunteering together so that we can do the trail cleanup and what have you, and entrance cleanup, because we've got Old Meeting House, Howard, we've got actually both ends for Howard, we've got Pheasant Ridge on that, was on that as well, the Squanicook River Rail Trail down here, so back behind the harbor or the hardware store, that whole area, it's got filled with nip bottles still, so.
So I clean that up.
Did you get that, Joan? Because I was back there, I was like, wow, okay, somebody's definitely drinking back here.
We're going to be having one for the rail trail, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should try to coordinate or.
Yeah, and it doesn't all have to be on the same day, maybe throughout the month of May or something like that.
Right.
And, Jennifer said she'd be happy to, I don't know, coordinate or lead. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Jen. Adam's damn one.
So there's already a town-wide one going on as well.
Right, that's Earth Day, right? The town-wide one, town-wide cleanup?
I have to find it.
I think it's in conjunction with Earth Day, I'm not sure.
The town cleanup's actually going from, it's like it's a 2-week span.
Yeah.
I had it on my calendar. I don't know if I still have it on there.
24.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going from April through to like the following month. It's like 3 weeks worth of time,
Okay.
I think.
Honestly, it's an idea. We do what we can, put up the ones that we can. Obviously we're not going to conquer the world before May 31st. We can try.
What I'd like to do on Earth Day is have a little table with, about volunteerism for town, and list, like, hey, there are this many boards and they all need volunteers, and we could, I can talk about the cleanups and all that. They have flyers for that too.
Look on the town website, I think under news, Karen Clement had posted the information about Earth Day.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what her deadline is for getting a table on the map.
Well, you can always put one at the rec center. I mean, we're going to have a kids craft. I mean, I've got all the land around the rec center. We're the only ones that have a table in this area. So.
Oh, good.
And the adults go over with the kids.
You're welcome to have space here. Like we have space. So.
Okay. So maybe we can put something together for that. Joan, I'll work with you on that in all my free time. I don't sleep anymore.
I'm sure.
I've quit sleeping.
I did have two questions. One with regard to the acceptance letter or approval letter. They said, please note that any pavement markings or signage included in your project that are not compliant with the manual on uniform traffic control devices should be used with caution, which again, I put together an ideal scenario of signage. And my assumption was that the people installing it know the rules, and people that we're ordering from know the rules and regulations, so that they would help advise with that stuff. So, but is there any, they said, please feel free to contact them to discuss the issues in more detail if needed. Do you feel like we should reach out or not? How do you feel about that?
I kind of feel like let's wait until we get our vendors in place, because again, this is their business, so they should know if something that we put ideally is not in alignment. But actually, I'm pretty sure, Em, that like 98% of what you've got is all compliant. They're all like
the signs themselves are, but placement of them,
Yeah, and that's their business. They should know if we have to move it so far to the left, so far to the right, or if it has to be higher or lower. That's one of the reasons we're getting an outside, and same as if we had the highway department, they know what those rules are.
Right.
So if we have to shift something, I would hope under their advice that we'd be able to do that. And maybe if they seem unsure, we can reach out and just be like, hey, but I feel like if there was anything glaring, they would have let us know.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So
I just
go ahead.
I feel like we've gone as far as we can for our knowledge and the research that we've done. And at this point, you know, I definitely hear you, Em, because we don't want to start placing things that are, you know, fall under that caution situation. But I think it's going to be a matter of the vendor. Like if they have the information of what rules to follow.
Okay, cool. And then my second question is 119 crosswalks. I know that you had submitted, all the information to Lori a month ago, right? Any follow-up or any status report from her?
Yep. So they've been assigned. So the maintenance for them has been assigned, and we actually they've already sent out a service tech to do the 20-mile-per-hour blinking light at Spalding. So they've already taken care of that because it hasn't worked except periodically for a very long time. So they actually sent a service tech out for that already. So yeah, so we're already in the queue. It's already been attached and assigned. So it's just going to be a matter of them coming out. So I'm going to make a note to connect with her and let her know that, hey, I'll do the same thing, the announcement. Hey, we've got this grant. We're super excited. I just wanted to know about your timeline so that we could try and, you know, match up so that we can have the whole thing done the same time.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do is, you know, in the press release say, you know, although it wasn't a part of the grant application, the committee, you know, saw this need, highlighted it, and is getting the work done, you know.
And you can say that is an affirmative. We have done that. Lori has confirmed it. We have sent in the paperwork, and she is doing her part to get it. Like I said, we're in the queue. Maintenance has been assigned for it, so it's going to happen. I'll ask her about a timeline.
Fantastic. Things are rolling.
So I have one more question since we're talking about signs. It's the one at Highland and Brookline Street, Pittsburgh sign that we wanted on that island. Roger said that island is actually a park and they push snow onto it. Do we want to get on Parks and Cemeteries schedule? Okay. To discuss that. Otherwise, we have to consider placement either at the end of Bow Street or at the corner where it's all sidewalk, which means we're drilling through sidewalk. But it would be nicer to have it on that. So they could move it in further, kind of close to that flagpole.
Yeah.
So
there's already poles and posts there. So, you know, I can't
I believe though, in the vendor that we talked to, that there are a few different mounts, one of which is somewhat flexible. So for snow and all that stuff, not that, you know, the thing would fall over, but that it wouldn't break with the impact of something like that. So again, don't quote me exactly, but there were a number of different mounts that we can choose from. And I believe she quoted us the most expensive one, right? Just so that we could have it in the budget. If we don't need the most expensive one, great, you know, then we get the other one. But depending on what the needs are for that island, it'd be good to, you know, have Roger weigh in on that for sure.
okay, so that's another one on my list of emails to send, and so we'll see if we can get on their schedule. So, okay, anything else?
I don't think so. I will CC you on my email to Lori, so that whatever response we get back, you'll have it straight up and you won't have to wait for me to send it over to you.
Sounds good.
All right, then I think we are all set, everybody. After we find out about the vendors, I'll set up another meeting time. Is 9 o'clock generally okay? And are there days better than others for meetings?
So I will not be here the April 15th through the 25th, although you guys can absolutely meet without me. But other than that, 9 o'clock is generally good.
Yeah, and I'm at the whim of whatever, so it's totally fine on me.
Okay, all right, then I'm scheduling for that time then. All right, everybody, thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.
You too, good to see you.
Yay. Thanks, everyone. Bye, Jen.